Greetings everyone, I'm Dara, and today I'm going to teach you a short lesson on some of the essential Logic Pro keyboard shortcuts used for running an efficient production session. First off, what is Logic Pro? Well, Logic Pro is a digital audio workstation, a music making program for Macs and iPads. It gives you everything you need in one place. So songwriting, beat making, recording, editing, and mixing, all located in one place. It also includes a large library of sounds and smart tools like the Drummer AI, which is an incredible feature. And this helps you to create realistic drum tracks very quickly. Logic Pro works well for students, educators, and of course for professional producers. So let's begin. Okay, so I'm now in Logic Pro, and I have a little project set up here using MIDI tracks, MIDI instruments that I pulled from the Loops library. Okay, and before we go further, some of the most immediate commands that you need to know are probably this is one of the most important ones, which is of course when you're working on your project, saving. So instead of just going to File and selecting Save, you can actually do the shortcut of pressing Command and Save. So very important to save all your work, Command and then S. Command and S to save your work. And then some other important commands to remember are, if you make a mistake, say I deleted that little piece of music there, moved it out the way, and I want it back, I didn't mean to do that, then Command Z undoes an action that you've just done prior to that. That was a mistake. And then if you actually want to redo an action, then Shift Command Z will redo that action. Okay, but it turns out for me that is a mistake, so I'm going to go back to Command Z to fix that. And then of course, to save my work, Command S. Okay, so two very important shortcut commands that you want to remember. Okay, Command S to save, and then Command Z to undo an action, and Shift Command Z will redo that action. Okay, and moving on now, since we are working with loops, I wanted to just show you a couple of commands involved with that. So I'm working with loops. Option B will split your format, your setup here, so you still have your tracks section here to work with, but now what you're seeing are the live loops section that you can work with. And I will show you how to use this portion of the setup in another lesson. But for now, we're going to focus more on the tracks section. But before getting back to that, we're on the live loops. And then if you do Option L, it gives you the full screen of the live loops section. But to get the tracks back, which is what we're going to work with mostly, we're going to now go to press Option N, which brings us back to the tracks. Okay, and this is the format or the view that we're going to be seeing for the rest of this short lesson. And next, to create a loop or cycling a section of the timeline so that the music is repeating automatically, you're going to do a right click, and I'm going to right click near the section that I would like to be looped or repeated. So I right clicked in the corner of the timeline up here and just dragged across there, highlighted that little section there. And then when I hit play, and I'm not going to hit play here, I'm going to use the space bar to play the music. So I press the space bar in the keyboard. It returns, recycles. Automatically cycles back again. And then I press the space bar to stop the music. So it was cycling, which is really cool. And then if we want to turn off that loop, you just press the letter C. Okay, and then it's been turned off. Okay, and then another quick command that's really cool is if you're working with colors, you want to change the colors of your tracks or your regions, say, so that it will help you to determine which portion of the song is maybe the verse, which portion of the song is maybe a chorus, and then which portion is the verse returning again. We can use colors, and to open the color palette, you would be pressing Option and then the letter C, Option C, and that turns on our color palette. And then to actually change the colors, you are selecting a section or a region and picking a color. And I did not want these two colors to change, so I'm going to grab them with the others. I'm going to make this middle section, say, let me put a little brighter color, that color. And since this ending section is kind of like the beginning, I'm going to select that color again. And then I'm going to change that. There we go. So now our first section of music and the last section happen to be an orangish red. Well, this is kind of like a purplish color here to signify a different portion of the music. Okay, let's play this. Okay, cool. So the song is just about to the end. And now, of course, if we want to hear it from the beginning again, just pressing return takes you back to the beginning. And then since we're done with our colors, we want to turn off our color palette. Option C turns that off. Okay. If we happen to want to loop something, bring the loop back in, the letter C turns that loop back on. We can extend or shorten that loop if we wish, or move it to a completely different spot. And expand it on the fly. Okay, I'm pressing the space bar to stop the music. I want to turn off the loop, so I pressed the letter C. And then finally, we're back at the beginning of the music. What if I want to go back to the end, maybe to do some editing or whatever it may be? In this case, the project is short, but if the project was, say, 5-10 minutes long, instead of having to scroll or even fast forward, I can just simply press Option and return or Option enter, and it takes you to the end. Return takes you to the beginning. Option return to the end. Okay, I hope those quick shortcut commands were beneficial and helpful to you. I hope this short little lesson was beneficial, and thank you. Hope to see you next time.